Hi and welcome to the Homeopathy Health Show. I am Atiq Ahmed Bhatti, a fourth generation homeopath with over 20 years of professional experience in this field of healing. In the Homeopathy Health Show, I'll be talking all things homeopathy and natural, with guest interviews, tips and advice, and answering some of your questions. Homeopathy is truly a unique complementary system of healing suitable for all ages, young and old. I'd love to hear from you and welcome your questions on homeopathy and how it can or has helped you. Feel free to email me at health@liketreatslike.co.uk or visit www.liketreatslike.co.uk for more information. Whilst you're there, take a look at the Knowledge Academy and blog section, where you will find interesting information. Both sections are growing day by day, so always check back. So let's begin today's show on UK Health Radio, the world's #1 talk health radio, real feel-good radio. Now, I'm delighted to welcome to today's Homeopathy Health Show Pat and Neil O'Keefe from the Homeopathic Book Company, which is based in Rutland in the United Kingdom. The Homeopathic Book Company has been supplying books to homeopaths and those interested in homeopathy and nutrition since 2001. Pat and Neil, or Neil and Pat, pleasure having you on the show, and thank you for agreeing to come on and chat about all things books.
It's a pleasure. It's our pleasure.
Thank you for inviting us.
Let's talk about yourselves first. What's your background and how did you get into sort of selling homeopathic books?
Well, my background actually was in computing, was my original career. I took a break from that and had an interest in homeopathy because I visited Peter Chappell as a homeopath. He was my local homeopath in London. He gave me, I didn't know anything about homeopathy when I went to visit him, but he gave me one tablet and it was transformational. And I was converted to homeopathy straight away, really. And so when I took a break from my career, I started studying homeopathy. But this was in the days before the internet. And I was running the library at the college I was at and got involved in that side. And more students were asking me to buy books for them whilst I was buying books for the library at the college. And so that was the start of the Homeopathic Book Company, really. And then when the internet was growing and my background in computing prompted me to have a website and start selling homeopathic books.
You said you were studying homeopathy, so are you a homeopath or otherwise?
Well, no, I don't practice homeopathy anymore. Something had to give as the book business grew. And I relocated from the south of England to kind of the Midlands and didn't really develop a practice once I'd moved because it was in the early 2000s, really, 2001 when we started and the internet was growing and the business grew with it.
But you did qualify.
Oh, I did qualify as a homeopath, yes.
Oh, nice, wonderful. What about you, Neil? What's your background?
Very different from Pat's, I would say, Atiq. Very different indeed. Up until 2020, I had a career in the automotive industry. I retired at that point from my career job, and although I did some preparation for my retirement, I did find myself a little bit at a loose end. And the logical thing to do was to support Pat in a business that started in 2001. So I started off really looking at how I could make life a little bit easier for Pat. But then very quickly we concluded that there was an opportunity for us to support the global homeopathic community in a much more effective way. So I started to take on the role of website optimization, online and offline marketing, customer reviews, and starting to refine the proposition that we wanted to present to our global audience.
And how are you finding it? Because it is a big change, isn't it? But it must be wonderful to work as husband and wife, no? Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, It is. We have our moments. That's inevitable when husbands and wives work together. But generally, we're pretty good at resolving any issues that might be created.
Well, I think we've carved out our own roles, really. You play to your strengths, and I play to mine, really. I'm very much all about managing the stock and making sure, the customer is serviced well, that everything goes out on time, that all the communications with the customer are smooth and everybody has an understanding of their order and their manage expectations about delivery, chase deliveries, that sort of thing.
Now, moving to the question at hand, do you have any favourite books as far as homeopathy is concerned?
I suppose if I was going to turn to a materia medica, I would go to Prisma. Frans Vermeulen's materia medica is the one I tend to go to. Quite often I would just need a first aid book just to look up something quickly. And there is a book, I don't know if you've come across it, called Reach for a Remedy. So I tend to turn to that book if I just want a first aid remedy quickly. But again, there's many good first aid books.
It is quite interesting that some of our local homeopaths have been quite interested in helping their families understand a little bit more widely how to use homeopathy without sort of ringing up their family homeopath all the time. And Reach for a Remedy has been one of those books that has been really quite popular amongst them as gifts, really, because it's a book that's very easy to use, and from what I can understand from the feedback that we've had, gives very good results.
That's good to hear. And also I think it's very important, the point that you made about being able to safely, of course, self-prescribe for maybe minor and acute ailments. Of course, as everybody knows, for anything a bit more serious or something that prolongs, one should seek professional medical advice. New books and bestsellers. Let's talk about bestsellers first, actually. What books do you find, if any, are sort of more popular than others, just for everybody's knowledge?
Robin Murphy's books, and I do find that his repertory in materia medica do outsell most of the other books. Frans Vermeulen's Prisma is also in the materia medica. But when I looked at the sales earlier, the other books that interestingly sell very highly is Homeopathy for Plants, Morter, Maute. Christian Morter.
Yeah.
That a lot of people are obviously looking at using homeopathy in their gardens, and there's also the one by Cavirage, Homeopathy for Farm and Garden. They both sell very well.
That's actually a very upcoming and emerging field within homeopathy, because I know that Camilla Scher from Dynamis, who is now in Tanzania working for, she's the co-founder of Homeopathy for Health in Africa, which is doing an amazing job. But she's also helping transform farmland or areas into organic areas through homeopathy, which is fascinating. It's a really interesting area to be looking at.
Yes, I've seen her work on that. She's doing quite a few online seminars educating people in use of agri-homeopathy. So that's very much a very growing area. And then beyond that, other books, there's Ton Jansen, and his work is very, very popular. But I know he also does a lot of online seminars, and his work's very, very interesting. And yeah, Sholton's always very popular.
So what's coming up as far as books are concerned? Are there any new titles on the horizon?
There is one quite hotly anticipated book, I think. Again, it's Frans Vermeulen. He's very prolific with his books, but towards the end of this year, he's at the Saltire publishers are looking to produce a materia medica and repertory from Frans Vermeulen, which will be interesting because he's mostly done materia medica up until now, but he's actually incorporating a repertory with that book. So that will be interesting. And then Frans Vermeulen has another book coming out, Arthropods, Spiders, in the summer.
People may think that homeopathy is a very it's a small world, but certainly it's not. And I'm finding that the eminent homeopaths from around the world, this, like we've just discussed, some of the authors have done so much research away from perhaps homeopathy as it is understood today. There are so many uses for homeopathy in different scenarios. It's amazing, and this upcoming research, of course, is going to change the way that people, perceive or view homeopathy.
Yes, that's a very good point that you make, I think, Atik, because certainly, in my role of looking at website optimization, obviously, for our business, part of what we have been trying to do is to become, in some way at least, a bit of a knowledge bank for people who are interested in homeopathy all over the world. And as a consequence, when we publish a book on the website, where possible, we'll also publish an extract and a review if there is one. We would encourage people to come onto the website, not necessarily to buy a book, but if they want to understand more about what is out there and who's doing what, they could very usefully find out that kind of information on our website.
Now, something that caught my eye actually is that you also supply course books or course material for 3 schools, the School of Health Homeopathy course, the Irish School, and the Southern College of Homeopathy. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
If I take the School of Homeopathy, for example, it's the School of Health because we also do supply the nutrition books for their nutrition courses and naturopathy.
Yeah.
So it's not just the School of Homeopathy, that comes under the umbrella of the School of Health. The college itself used to supply the books for the students, but of course that's another business in itself, just acquiring and supplying the books. And Manny Norland, who now runs the college, approached me and asked me if I would be prepared to take that on. I welcomed the opportunity, so that grew out of a relationship with Manny, really. The Southern College, that's just new this year. They asked me just to put the book list on the website, and the students are able, therefore, to see the books and the prices and purchase accordingly.
Even though sometimes you may feel that you're just selling books, but just think about it in terms of this, that somebody may purchase a book on homeopathy or even perhaps, on nutrition, but they study that book and they may buy another 1 or 2, or they may look at other material. But as a result, they decide that, do you know what, this is the profession I want to be in. And as a result of that, they qualify after whatever amount of years, and that then results in them helping and serving humanity through this field. So the difference that you make right at the start is immense. The potential is there, isn't it? When you look at it from when you step back and you look at the broader picture, the start and middle and the finish.
Yes, it's quite a journey, isn't it?
Brilliant. It's been so nice having you on the show and just having this chat. It's really, really delightful. And I certainly hope later this year that you'll come back and talk about some of the new titles. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Stay safe, and hopefully we'll talk to you very, very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do hope you've enjoyed the Homeopathy Health Show here on UK Health Radio, the world's #1 talk health radio. Tune in next time for more things homeopathy, interviews and segments on the healing possibilities that homeopathy can bring you. And don't forget to visit UK Health Radio online at www.ukhealthradio.com to see the many other amazing shows available to listen live and on demand. Or why not download the app from the iOS and Android stores. Until next time, stay safe and take care.